His first steps. When you tell somebody that your son is 12 months old, 13 months old, that's the first question that comes up. Is he walking yet? We knew that our son's first year was going to bring about a lot of big moments and a lot of firsts. I guess, as a new parent, what I didn't expect was how gradual these firsts would come about. So yes, at his age, walking is the milestone you would be counting on. But first, let's talk about his first words. That's the other big one, right? There's a long list of firsts to accomplish, but those are what everybody thinks of as the big two: first steps and first words. When I say his first words were gradual, what I mean is that there really wasn't a defining moment where his mouth formed a word for the first time. He was babbling and playing around with different sounds, mainly G's, B's, and M's, since he was about 3 months old. He then started stringing these consonants together so you would get more enunciated babbling, like bab, 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 and ma, 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 ma. Eventually, he was able to cut this down and say what we think of his first word. He's next to me right now recording this, helping me record this. He's correcting me. There he goes. Eventually, he was able to cut this down and say what we think of as his first word, mama.
Mama.
Mama!
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it. Even though he was distinctly saying mama as his first word, it was still another few weeks later before I would say he showed some sort of comprehension of what he was saying. Like he would say the word, but it would be in reference to Trish and not just at random. His first steps have also been a gradual achievement. When we brought him home from the hospital last October, he was, as a newborn should be, completely helpless. If we set him down, it needed to be on his back and away from anything that could accidentally smother him. With this as the starting point, it was a pretty big deal the first time that he rolled himself from his back to his stomach, and then also a big deal when a solid couple weeks later, he learned the reverse, rolling stomach to back. Crawling was a huge achievement. Once he could roll from front to back and vice versa, that's mainly how he would move around the apartment, like a little tumbleweed. To transition him to crawling, we would have to put him on his stomach and place our hands behind his legs to give him a push-off point. Even with this, it was still months later when he figured out that he could crawl by himself without any assistance from us. Separately from all this moving around, he was gradually beginning to be more vertically stable as well. Before he achieved the balance to sit up on his own, if you were to place him in a seated position, he would either catch himself with his hands, forming a kind of tripod, or, more likely, he would fall on his face. He eventually learned the balance of sitting on his own, and then when we visited the grandparents in July, he learned how to stand on his own. This started as pulling himself onto his feet and then using whatever he was holding as support. This actually fairly quickly developed into cruising. Our sofa in this apartment has an L shape, so it gives him a fairly long stretch to cruise along, holding himself up with the sofa and shuffling his feet in a side-to-side motion. He got very good at this, but showed no interest in letting go and walking on his own. For the past couple of months, we would encourage the walking by holding out our arms, calling his name, hoping he would absent-mindedly let go of the couch and just walk on his own. Not so much the case. It actually worked much better when we practiced by just standing him up in the middle of the floor repeatedly until he got the balance to stand on his own. No support. Then, not long after that, he started taking his steps. To pluralize steps would be generous, especially in the beginning. Once he could stand on his own, he would try to take a step and then usually fall down. This went on for a couple of weeks until he got that one step up to 2, and then 2 became 3, and so on. So, the question that everybody wants to know when I tell him I have a 14-month-old at home, is he walking? Well, truthfully, no, he's not walking consistently. He still primarily crawls everywhere because, as Trish points out, he can crawl to everywhere in the apartment, and he does it so quickly that there's really no need for him to learn an alternative way to move around. Now, he has taken his first steps without a doubt, and he is building up to walking. He used to only take a few steps around when prompted and set up by me or Trish, but these days he will often stop in the middle of the floor, stand up, and take a few steps on his own before plopping back down and crawling the rest of the way. He'll without a doubt be walking everywhere soon, and we're looking forward to finding out how much more difficult that makes it to catch him. It's been an amazing year with our son, and we can't wait to watch him as he continues to grow and continues to achieve more firsts.